Hey friends, I hope you're having an amazing day. This is a shameless plug going out to my free downloads. I just loaded up cycling snacks. So these are a great way to make your own healthy snacks for training inside, outside, or for the family. So go to askcoachsylvie.com and download them today. All right, gang. Welcome to another episode of Secrets from Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie Deu. And this is the coaches segment happening this Friday, which when this comes out, I will be, cross my fingers, in Hastings, Michigan, getting, signing in and getting my swag bag for BARRY-ROUBAIX. So you know that I interviewed Matt Acker of BARRY-ROUBAIX in January for the event, and I was totally intrigued by the event. And then when I checked how far it was, I'm like, oh, it's just far enough for me to drive. I was always saying that I have like a maximum of 13 hours I will drive for an event or for a training camp, whatever. And this one fit the bill. So I asked Matt if I could join, and he said yes. So gratuitous, and but not really. See, when we had the challenge going on for reviews, nobody claimed the free entry. The person who won it didn't come forward. And so I was like, well, hey, Matt, could I take it? And he said, yeah. So here I am. And if you're listening to this, you might want to switch over to YouTube, which is right at the top of the description, because this one's a more visual episode, because I'm basically in my basement in the middle of all of this gear. I borrowed my friend's cyclocross bike to use. Funny enough, it used to be mine. And so what I'm doing is I'm swapping. It needed some, not repair, but just some adjustments. And I have like a lot of the tools here. So I do take care of my own bikes for the most part, almost like 99%. If there's something that I just can't figure out, or if I don't feel super comfortable, like especially the derailleur adjustments, which I'm getting better at, I'll take it in and just have them do quick adjustments, which are super cheap. But I've saved tons of time and money, and I've, changed all my tires and clean my cassettes. I can take I could take those off, and my chains and things like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just cleaning up my girlfriend's bike, and I'm swapping out the back cassette for something a little bit bigger. I was going to change the chain, but it seems like hers is longer. So I don't want to mess with that. That seems kind of different. And which is odd, because this chain that I have goes on a bigger crankstet in the front. So anyways, I don't know. See, that's something I don't know about. So that would be something that I would definitely go and ask help. But so I'll show you here. With regards to the gear, first, I'm getting this bike. I'm hopefully going to go for a ride with it tonight. So this is her chain ring, a crank here. And so I was going to swap it out for something bigger, but everybody said I should keep with this one. But I'm going to go with the bigger range in the other cassette. So this is a 1227, and I have an 1128 over there. And I definitely want an 11 for downhills, and there's going to be plenty of them in BARRY-ROUBAIX, because I was, when you go to an event, there are certain things you need to check out. Weather, yeah, that's kind of last minute, but what's the terrain like, and what do you have to practice for? So There's going to be a lot of little rollers. I'm doing the 100 kilometers, so 62 miles. And so I got to be ready for that, for easy climbing, like a good gear ratio. And so I'm also, yeah, her like pulley wheels are disgusting. You want to see what disgusting pulley wheels look like? Okay, so see all this dirt right there? That needs to come off. So I'm gonna clean that up and put a new cassette on. And then I'm gonna put her chain back on, and then I'm gonna go for a little test ride. But okay, so the word on the street is that it's going to be really cold this weekend, because everybody did a pre-ride. Well, a bunch of people did a pre-ride. So Barry-ROUBAIX has its own Facebook page about the event. So everybody did a pre-ride, and so I guess it was okay, but it's supposed to get a lot of rain this week. And so this weekend it's going to be cold. So what do you do when it's going to be cold for an event? You bring freaking everything. Like, people are talking about putting pogies on their handlebars, which I have some. And I'm also contemplating bringing a front carrier to put a lot of shit in, just in case, because and also so I can peel off clothes, because I'd rather be warm than cold. I have done an event, and I'll never forget it. I've also done multiple adventure races or multi-day where, we're out there for 36 hours. This is going to be 4 to 5 hours. However, the colder you are, the slower you go. And that's not something I ever want to think about. So I had to strategically plan, like, what am I going to wear for my shoes? I might just go with my hikers on flats and put a covering over them and some hot shots. I might just do that, because that would be better than freezing my feet. Because I do have my mountain bike shoes, and these are my hikers, and I have no problem biking 100K in my running shoes. I never have, and it's not going to make any difference on the hills for me. I mean, it would be a little bit easier pulling up, but the thing is, right now is thinking about strategically for warmth and not DNFing, because I don't go to races to DNF. That's one thing I don't do. So I would rather compromise to be able to finish strong, because I'll tell you about that event that I went to. I don't know how many women were in my category, but I had 2 teammates in my category, and it was nasty to start, like a little bit raining, a little bit hailing, cold, and a lot of people started like in very light clothing. A massive amount of people pulled out of hypothermia or just too cold. And you want to know the thing? I won my category. I think I was one of the only Masters women who finished. Like, literally. When I showed up, nobody was left. But here's the thing, I finished. And I won first place. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Yeah, so I have this amazing bag here. So I'm literally, and here's my pogies. These pogies are so old. These are for actually paddling. And you see them here, they undo here, and they can go around your handlebars. So I can bring these if it's a really dire case. But what I will probably do is bring a heavier mitt with a glove inside and hand warmers for my hands. And then, like I said, more for my shoes. I'll bring these 2 shoe options with booties, and that's where you can slip the little hot shots underneath. And I have a multiple, so I'm going to go grab those and put them in my bag. Yeah, and then I'll start putting together my food. And you want to think about heat, warmth, and so here's another thing. I haven't found accommodations yet. So that's probably the only thing that I'm kind of about. I don't mind sleeping in my car, but it's going to be cold. And I could bring a tent, but today is the day to sit and figure that out. I've got my map. And finding like a cheap hotel, the next town over. But here's a couple things, when you're getting ready, it's Monday. I drive out Thursday. I'm taking all day to drive there. I hate being stressed. I'm hoping maybe Friday I'll be able to drive some of the route over biking it. And so Friday is about scoping out the area, the start line, some of the race course, picking up my swag bag, setting up the team tent. And I don't like rushing in. I like being there first, picking my spot. So if I can give you any bit of advice, always give yourself lots of time. Now, my first struggle, and you'll know this by the time you hear this podcast episode, is getting across the border. So tomorrow I go for a rapid test and I'm going to take that. Things have changed. You don't need a passport anymore, but you never know, depending who you get at the border. My strategy is to start at Ogdensburg. If I don't get there, go down to Thousand Islands. If I don't get there, go to Kingston, and then I'll decide. If I get turned around, then I'm just going to come home, and you'll hear about it on the podcast stories on Instagram. So make sure you're following there, because that's where I'm going to be posting all the updates, as well as my personal Instagram page. So logistics, I have them all printed. I've read them all out. I've got the map of the city, or the Hastings, and where everything sits and parking and things like that. Like, there's going to be 4,000 people there. So I have to think about that. It's not just going to be me rolling in and trying to find parking, right? There's going to be like thousands of people biking around, and then, so logistics, accommodations, timing, make sure you have enough time, know where your start is, know what time you have to start, because they're very specific. If you line up in the wrong spot, you could get DNF'd. That would really suck right at the beginning. And if I have time, I will scope through the amount of women, because temperatures like this, lots of people don't show up. And that can lead to a higher ranking on the standings. So I'm just going there to finish, but let's be honest, I have a plan. The plan is to stay friggin' warm and cross that finish line, but in good time. So right now, after I finish this, I'm going to finish the bike, put it together. The chain is cleaned. I got to clean it up, clean the pulley wheels, ride the bike tonight, whether it be on the trainer or outside, making sure everything is working, and pulling together more of my clothing, like going upstairs, getting my my knickers and my long leggings, my long tights, because I wear different types of shorts with those. So I have to think about that, bringing a couple different pairs. So I don't want to be stuck without different types of clothing, because that can really like bite you in the ass. And different types of jackets. I have a range of different types of jackets. Um, so pulling those all out as well. Um, and yeah, mm-hmm. Those are very strategic. Like this could make or break your event. Like 100K is a long fucking way. Being miserable and cold. And I felt that. And, thankfully I finished that race before I hit hypothermic. But after I finished that race, man, I bawled my eyes out. I was so freaking cold. So I don't want to be like that ever again. So I've got to plan properly. Yes, so that's where I'm going to start pulling together a bunch of gear. And so I have options, and that's another reason why Friday is open, is to plan for Saturday. There's like, you should not be doing that the morning of an event. The morning of the event is for, especially if you like start at 10, you need to eat, travel, make sure all your shit's ready. That's what Saturday morning's about. That's not for like rushing around, doing tire changes, switching things up. You should have figured out what you're wearing Friday night and be ready. Everything packed in the car. And that's how I roll. Yeah. All right. So that's it for today. I'll have something more exciting, but make sure that you are following me on my personal Instagram and the podcast Instagram, and you'll hear all the updates over the weekend, whether I got it crossed, and if I did, all the fun. And to put on your calendar next year. All right, so I'm just going for the party, but anywho, wish me luck. Send me some good luck charms on social, and I will see you there. Thank you, and have yourself an amazing day.